Hi, welcome to this week's episode of UA Overtime. I'm Joe Marshall, filling in for Jermaine Dennis as your host. I'm here with Ray, Dylan, and Nick. We have a great episode today for you. The first quarter, we're going to focus on the NFL schedules. They were released yesterday. Everyone, the big thing they're talking about now is the Giants, defending Super Bowl champions, statistically have the hardest schedule. So, Ray, we're going to discuss whether or not we think their chances of repeating and our most intriguing matchups of the season. So what do you think over here, Ray? The Giants, what are the chances that they're going to repeat?
I think they have a solid chance of repeating. It depends on whether they get an 8 to 10 game winning season. If they can just keep their intensity through the season and hopefully go into this division with a good amount of wins, they got a good chance.
Okay. What do you think,
Well,
Nick?
being that they lost both Manningham and Brandon Jacobs, their short yardage threat, I don't see the Giants repeating. I mean, it's already hard statistically to repeat as an NFL team, and being that their last game of the season will be against Philadelphia, that will determine probably where the NFC East goes, and I do see Philadelphia winning the division. I don't see the Giants getting into the playoffs by a large margin. They might get the last wild card spot.
I'd have to agree with Nick. I don't think the Giants are going to repeat as division champs. But the toughest schedule, they're the Super Bowl champs. They're the top dog. They should have the toughest road back to the Super Bowl. But that being said, they only won 9 games last year. They're not a great regular season team. They lost a couple of offensive weapons. And the Eagles last year were everyone's favorite team on paper. They started off slow, but they figured it out in the second half. They won 5 of their last 7 games, including beating the Giants at home 17-10 in Week 11. If the Eagles can figure it out coming out of the gate, I think they'll win the division. The Giants will probably make the playoffs, I think, last wild card spot, like Nick said. But I don't think they're the favorites to repeat as the Super Bowl.
The thing is, though, people fail to forget that, the Giants barely got into the playoffs. If a few things have went a different way, anything could have happened. If the Jets would have beat the Giants last week, they wouldn't be there. So when a team gets rolling into the playoffs, that's really what determines how far they'll get. I don't see them getting far.
If Tony Romo makes the throw to Miles Austin in that game, the Giants don't even make the playoffs.
There's a bunch of things. The way that I look at it, first of all, as a Giant fan, this is tough to try and think about, but the Eagles really did have the dream team last year, but they weren't able to put it together. I think there's too many things in the way. If the Eagles are able to put their team together, they're going to win the division. Another problem for us is with the hard schedule, we might not get into the playoffs, and like you guys said, we only made it because we were hot at the right time. So if we could get hot again and get into the playoffs, maybe, but teams in the NFL don't repeat as Super Bowl champions all that often. Last time was in the early 2000s with the Patriots. I don't really see it happening. So what do you think about the most intriguing matchup?
Most intriguing matchup for me has to be Giants versus Packers.
Okay.
Because this will be the first time they've met since playoffs. If they can go into this and just take the Packers down, they have a solid chance at taking the division. The Packers, it's going to be bad blood between them. They're probably mad that the Giants took them out in the playoffs. So they want to prove themselves to them. So,
okay. What do you think, Nick?
The last time we got to see Peyton Manning play was about a year ago. I'm really excited to see Peyton Manning and his new offense because, the Denver Broncos used to be somewhat of a wild card offense. A wildcat offense. Sorry about that. But they're going to be facing the Pittsburgh Steelers Week 1, who the Steelers lost to actually in the playoffs. So I'm going to be excited to see that Pittsburgh Steelers defense go against Peyton Manning. See what he can do.
The game I can't wait to watch is when Peyton Manning travels to New England Week 5 to take on Tom Brady in Foxborough. This is Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady 2.0. Peyton's got a new team. We know all the legendary battles these two quarterbacks have gone throughout their career, regular season and the playoffs. It got to the point where the NFL scheduled an annual Patriots-Colts matchup, and now he's on the Broncos, and they're continuing that tradition. Peyton Manning has something to prove this year. He got cut. People think he should retire. The only way he can come out and say, I'm back, is going into Foxborough, beating Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and saying he's back. I don't think the Broncos will win that game, but it's going to be great to watch.
Okay. There's no wrong answer to this question. There's a bunch of good matchups. I like the 49ers and the Lions. Everyone knows what happened last year when they played versus their coaches. So I kind of like to see that matchup with something we talked about on the show before. So
Shook his hand too hard?
Absolutely. So we're going to see what happens, maybe see if there's some drama there. But that's going to be the end of our first quarter. We're going to come back for the second quarter and talk about the NFL draft. Stay tuned. Welcome back to UA Overtime. For the second quarter, we're going to talk about the NFL draft coming up next Thursday. So for this segment, we all divided into each team. We're all going to pretend to be a general manager. Since the first 2 picks are pretty much already set in stone with Luck and RG3, I'm going to be the GM of the Vikings, and we're going to go from there as the 3rd overall pick. So with the 3rd overall pick in the 2012 NFL draft, I'm going to say that the Vikings are going to take Matt Khalil, offensive tackle, USC. I feel like you can't go wrong here. You already, as the general manager, you already have your franchise running back and your franchise quarterback set in stone. Your line is getting old. You got to get some protection. It's a great future, 10, 12-year tackle that you're going to have. So I don't really think there's anything you could do going wrong with Matt Khalil, offensive tackle. What do you think?
With the 4th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, I have the Cleveland Browns taking Trent Richardson, running back out of Alabama. They have a hole in their offense now that Peyton Hillis is gone. He left contract, injury issues. He's the chief now. They have a solid line led by Joe Thomas, all-pro offensive tackle, and Trent Richardson brings that flashy pick the Browns fans need. Colt McCoy is not a superstar player. Richardson has the potential to be that. He rushed for a combined 2,000 total yards last year and 24 touchdowns. He was third in the Heisman, only behind RG3 and Andrew Luck. And he brings that star power Cleveland doesn't have. That's a solid pick right there. It's flashy. The fourth pick, it's too high to take a risk on any quarterback other than RG3 and Andrew Luck. They're going to be gone. So Tannehill's too high at that pick. I just think Trent Richardson's a solid pickup.
Okay, right?
With the 2012 NFL draft pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Morris Claiborne. He's the best cornerback in this draft. It's time for Tampa Bay to address their defensive problems. They've already addressed all their problems on offense with Vincent Jackson and Carl Nix. Morris Claiborne is going to play under Rondé Barber for a while and eventually succeed him.
Old man Barber.
That's true.
All right. With the 6th pick of the 2012 NFL draft pick, the St. Louis Rams are going to choose who else but Justin Blackmon. I mean, he dominated for the past 2 years at Oklahoma State, racking up over 3,000 yards as well as 30 touchdowns. I mean, last year alone he had 18 touchdowns, and this guy's huge. He's 6'1", 215 pounds. He's going to be a big threat, especially with Sam Bradford. I mean, this team is it's building. They're building the Rams back up. He does remind me of Anquan Bolden or T.O., but the only thing that does bother me about him is his speed. You know, that's hard to teach speed, but he will be a deep threat, and I'm excited to see what the Rams do with him.
To me, that's a slam dunk pick after RG3 and Andrew Luck, because they need to get a wide receiver for Sam Bradford. And if as long as no one trades up to take Blackmon, he's going St. Louis.
I really like these young duos. I mean, you saw it in Detroit and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So I mean, these young quarterbacks with these young receivers, they're going to be a threat.
Another thing to think about is come maybe 2015, the Rams are stacking up picks. By the time the 2015 season comes, because they do have talent there, and Sam Bradford is a good quarterback, if they could put together a string of some solid picks here and don't miss,
they're going to be a second Detroit. They're going to be a second Detroit Lions team.
Exactly, yeah.
Because I mean, Detroit had the first round. How many years in a row did Detroit have the first 4 picks?
Yeah, and then eventually start hitting on them, and now they're look at their team now. Now they're actually a threat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to come back. We're going to go into halftime. When we come back, third quarter, we're going to talk about the Yankees-Red Sox matchup this weekend. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Overtime. Our third quarter topic is going to be the Yankees-Red Sox matchup this weekend. It's going to be a big matchup between the two rivals. So we broke this series down into 3 things. Each one of us is going to pick who has the edge in pitching, hitting, and what the X factor is for who can win the series. So what do you got, Ray, first? Who has your pitching matchup?
I don't think any of these teams have an advantage in pitching. I think whoever steps up is going to win this game.
Okay. Nick?
I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be an up-and-down battle, but I'll give the upper hand to the Yankees. I mean, they do have Sabathia, who has a, even though he has an up-and-down record against the Red Sox, I feel like he will step up to the plate because of the rivalry, and I will give it to the Yankees.
Okay.
For me, this is going to be a bullpen type of weekend. You got Friday, Nova Buchholz. Buchholz has a 9 ERA. You don't know how that's going to go. Saturday, Freddie Garcia against Felix Doubront. That is a bullpen game waiting to happen. There's going to be a lot of offense in that game. Then Sunday night, you got Sabathia versus Barr. That should be a good pitching matchup. But overall, it's going to come down to the bullpen.
Okay, I completely agree. I like the pitching matchup for the Yankees. I do understand. Yeah, Game 2, definitely a bullpen game.
Yeah.
They're going to get those guys out early, maybe 4th, 5th inning. I do like that if it's a 1-1 series, I do like come Game 3, we have Sabathia going on the hill. That's our ace right there. We got to have faith in him. He is a warm weather, kind of warm month pitcher. He starts off rough, but I do like him to step up for this. So what do you think, Ray? Who's got the edge in hitting?
I think Derek Jeter right now, he's hot right now. He has to keep that going coming into this game. Curtis Granderson, 3 home runs yesterday. Awesome. If he could just bring that momentum into this next game,
absolutely,
they have a good chance.
Nick?
I'm going to go ahead and say the Red Sox have the upper hand in hitting right now. David Ortiz is coming out, batting great. He's leading in every category except home runs for his team. So I think that will be a sight to see.
Okay.
I think offensively these teams are extremely even. They're both very inconsistent. Other than Jeter and Granderson and Adrian Gonzalez and David Ortiz, no one on these teams are hitting consistently. A-Rod, one night he's on, next night he's off. It all comes down to who's going to hit and run with runners in scoring position, and the Yankees have not been doing that, so I'm going to give the edge to the Red Sox.
If either one of these teams can put together a one night where everybody on their lineup goes off, they're dangerous. They both have disgusting lineups if they put everything together. But you're right, they're so inconsistent. 2 guys are on, 2 guys are off. The Yankees, I have to give the edge to them if they can put it all together. But the middle of our lineup has to hit. We can't have Teixeira and A-Rod go, combine 1 for 8 on a night and expect to win any games. That just can't happen. So for our X factor, what do you think, Ray?
I'm liking the Yankees bullpen. I think if they can use their pitching and step up. It's whoever steps up in pitching.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and say Derek Jeter is going to be the X factor. After he hit his 3,000th hit, Jeter's been batting over a 330, and once he starts hitting well, the rest of the team seems to follow in fashion. I mean, you saw it yesterday with Granderson hitting 3 home runs. Jeter's definitely going to be the X factor.
Great point.
My X factor is also the Yankees, just the bullpens in general. It's going to come down to the bullpens. There's not great starting pitching this weekend, and the Yankees have one of the best bullpens in baseball. Mo started off rough, but he's getting it together. He's Mariano Rivera, the greatest of all time. David Robertson's Houdini. They bring him in bases loaded, no outs. He gets all the strikeouts. And the Red Sox bullpen is a mess right now. They don't have a true closer. Andrew Bailey's out until the All-Star break, at least. Alfredo Aceves has been a starter his whole life, and now they're throwing him in the closer role. He has a 9 ERA. And Mark Melancon, the guy they got from Houston to be the setup man, his ERA right now is 49.50. Yeah, 49.50. He just got sent down to the minors. The Red Sox bullpen is a mess.
Honestly,
I
though,
have to give the edge to the Yankees.
I really, even though these two teams are a rivalry, I really don't see either of them really dominating in the AL East this year.
They both started off bad.
They did, and the Rangers are looking pretty scary again.
The AL is so strong.
This is going to be the strongest AL has been in years. For my X factor, though, the only thing that I can really, that might give an edge to either one of the teams is that this weekend it's a celebration for the Red Sox. It's the 100th anniversary of Fenway Park. So there's going to be a lot of old Red Sox going back, a couple ceremonies. So if anything, that might make their team, maybe step up, bring up the intensity. We'll see what happens.
I don't think that matters.
The Red Sox,
I really feel like the history of Fenway Park, the Yankees are going to want to come in there and embarrass them.
The Yankees want to, but the Red Sox, they have to win at least 2 games.
They know that they have to, but it could work the opposite. It could that the Yankees are going to know that the Red Sox are pumped, so they're going to be extra pumped.
They got dominated this week already. The Red Sox got dominated. I feel like the
Rangers shelled the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. They got blew out.
They could be embarrassed. I could see
and
that happen.
Bobby V, what is he doing right now?
I don't know.
That team is a mess.
I don't know.
He's been there for 2 weeks, and
he should have stayed on baseball tonight.
Pedroia is going against him. He needs to lock it up. That team's a mess right now.
Agreed. All right, that's going to be it for the third quarter. We'll come back in the fourth quarter. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs.
UA Overtime, you Albany's leader in sports.
Welcome back to UA Overtime. Our fourth quarter topic is going to be the NBA playoffs. The seeds aren't locked yet, but it's close. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick our most intriguing matchup and what we like to see the most coming up in the playoffs. So first things first, Dylan, who do you like? What matchup are you kind of looking forward to seeing if things were to lock today?
For me, I'm going out west. It's the 4 versus 5 seed. The Clippers versus the Grizzlies. We got lob seed against this young, electric Grizzlies team. We know what the Grizzlies did last year in the playoffs. They were dominant. They played really well. They shocked everybody. And they're only better this year because they didn't have Rudy Gay last year. He's healthy now. Zach Randolph's back. He was hurt for most of the year, but now he's back. He's healthy. And I think the Grizzlies can upset. There's 5 seed, but they can upset the Clippers. Chris Paul is a great player, but I think the Grizzlies can make a deep run in the West.
Okay. Nick?
All right, I'm definitely going to say that since the Knicks have been playing well as of late, if Chicago can somehow fall back into that second seed because they're only 1.5 games above the, they're only 1.5 games.
Night.
Yeah, exactly. And they lost to the Heat last night. If the Heat can somehow get back into first, then the Chicago Bulls will play the Knicks, and I do see the Knicks pulling an upset over them. That is one of the teams that they match up best against. And the most exciting game of the NBA season was probably the overtime game when Melo hit that game-winning three.
Derrick Rose can't play in the Garden. Can't play
exactly. So, I mean, that's going to be a big thing to see. Also, because Chicago has never been able to fold the envelope and actually win a championship. So, if Derrick Rose doesn't do it this year,
and Derrick Rose is dealing with the injuries.
Exactly. The Knicks have a great chance of beating them.
Okay. Right?
I'm going to have to go with the Lakers-Mavs. We all know what happened last year, 4-0. They just completely sweep them. It's time for Kobe to step up. Everybody step up. Bynum, he's having a breakout season. He's going into this tournament, he's going to be the #1 center since Dwight Howard's out. Pau Gasol, he hit 3 tremendous threes the other day. He's showing that he's not just a #3 option anymore. He can be a go-to guy. Everybody on the team's coming into their own. Sessions is an extremely good starting point guard. And if they could just put it all together, and when Kobe comes back, which is today,
Mamba, he's coming back hungry.
They got it.
He's hungry.
Okay. Yeah, he's hungry and he's stay starving.
He's going to take like 30 shots. He's going to take like 30 shots.
Absolutely. All good answers. I'm looking forward to seeing all them. I'm going to go with the Knicks Heat. The way I look at it, as a Knicks fan, you have to like the way they're playing right now, and I do like the fact that Amari's going to come back and bring an extra energy coming off the bench now. He hasn't played a bunch of games. Hopefully he can, fix these back problems because that's not something that's going to be easy to play through. But if he could come back and bring energy, I could see maybe just maybe us knocking out the Heat. And if they do, then we're going deep in the playoffs. That's it right there.
As a Knicks fan, I'd rather see them play the Bulls.
I'd rather see that.
I don't see them winning a game in Miami. The Knicks. Like,
that's what makes me nervous.
Unless all the three-point shooters, J.R. Smith, Novak, they all have to be on. That's the only way they're beating the Heat.
But we can't rely on the three-point shot to be our go-to, to win a game. We can't just be throwing up threes. We have to actually run the offense, and Woodson has to have them locking down on defense. We can see what happens there. We never know. Do you guys have any upsets, maybe? Anything else?
I definitely see the Boston Celtics shocking the world and going at least to the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, they've played the best since the All-Star break. No team has been able to figure them out of late. Kevin Garnett is playing like he's back on the Timberwolves, and it's really exciting to see. I mean, Paul Pierce, he had a 43-point game against the Knicks a few nights ago, and I see the Celtics going deep. Watch out, Miami.
Anything else, guys?
I got the 76ers Heat. Their defense is just crazy. From the beginning of the season, they were top 3. And they slowly drop down.
Wait. Are you saying the Sixers will beat the Heat?
I'm saying the Sixers can beat the Heat.
What did you smoke this morning?
What are you doing? What? No way. No way.
The 76ers can beat the Heat.
What? The Heat destroyed the Sixers last year in the playoffs.
Talking about their offense. Offense-wise, they don't have like a go-to franchise player
Sixers
to score, but they have their defense.
How much did the Knicks beat the Sixers by like a week ago?
You're looking at them in the beginning of the season, though.
We're talking about going into the playoffs.
LeBron James, D Wade, and Chris Bosh are not losing.
You're saying Andre Iguodala has a chance?
Oh, the Sixers can win a game. Yeah. Oh, sure, they can win a game.
It's going to be close.
Okay.
It's not going to be close.
It could be close.
I'm honestly interested to see because everybody in this feel like in the beginning of the season, it was Bulls Heat. One of them is definitely going to make it.
Yeah.
If say they get knocked out, I'm looking forward to see you could maybe capitalize on one of those two teams getting knocked out.
I think the Knicks can beat the Bulls.
The Knicks can beat the Bulls. They will go into a game 6 or 7.
If they match up, I think the Knicks will beat the Bulls.
If the Knicks can beat the Bulls, what makes you think the 76ers can't beat them?
Because those are
the Heat are not losing in the Eastern Conference until at least the finals. There's no way.
That's like saying the Browns are going to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
that's not that.
God.
Well, in a couple weeks, we'll see if Ray was right. If not, then we just got to wait out and see. All right, that's it for the fourth quarter. We're going to come back for our overtime topic. We're going to talk about the Kentucky Wildcats and maybe, perhaps, their chances of taking down an NBA team. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. For our overtime topic, it's kind of something we started debating yesterday at our meeting. Everybody always brings up the chances of maybe the best college team beating the worst pro team, and we kind of got into a little bit of debate. And Ray here actually thinks that the Bobcats would lose to the Kentucky Wildcats, like the team that just won the championship this year. So that's going to be our debate. So let's hear what you got to say, Ray.
I think Kentucky can take this game simply just for the fact that they have freaks on their team. Athletically, they're a full NBA team. They're NBA ready. They have 5 players declaring for the draft. Terrence Jones, he's already NBA body right there. Anthony Davis, he might be a little skinny, but he's the best shot blocker in the NCAA. Marcus Teague, one of the fastest point guards in the NCAA, going to the NBA now. And Duran Lamb, one of the best shooters simply in the NCAA tournament. He can make big shots. They can take this game.
All right, what do you think? What do you got to say back, Nick?
What is the sports world coming to? Like, did you get your Wheaties this morning, Ray? I mean, how could an inexperienced Wildcats team potentially beat any NBA team? I don't care if they're the worst team in the NBA. They still have years in the NBA against people like the Celtics, the Knicks, the Lakers. These teams, the Bobcats have beat good NBA teams, and I don't see the Wildcats ever beating an NBA team with the roster they have. Yes, they do have some freaks on offense and defense, but how many times have you seen an NCAA player come into the NBA and be a bust? Like, whatever happened to D. Brown?
Adam Morrison.
Adam Morrison.
Player
Well,
of the year.
he's on the bench, but
He's got
still.
he's not in the NBA anymore. He's got 2 rings, but
Another one of those
he didn't
guys?
earn
Yeah,
those.
I mean, like,
J.J. Redick is not a bust, but still, he's not a dominant player in the NBA.
never will a college team be able to beat an NBA team.
This question.
Yeah, but they have the national. Come on.
This
they have
question-
the
national
player of the year.
This
Marcus
question is
Teague.
ridiculous. The Bobcats
How is
would
it
they would feel
ridiculous?
so disrespected. They'd be like, we have to play these 18, 19-year-old kids. These are grown men. They would come out there and embarrass
They would
the
watch
Wildcats.
They should be
They would
honored to get beat by
They would
a
want.
national
They'd blow
team.
them out by 20 points. If the Bobcats
At
were
least.
in the NCAA tournament last year, they would have ran through the college level. They would have defeated Kentucky, It wouldn't even be close.
Okay,
I can't understand.
You got to think. Kemba Walker was the Final Four MVP last year, and he is just a nobody in the NBA.
On the
He's just an
Bobcats,
average
the team we're
guy.
debating.
On the Bobcats. You got to think. Gerald Henderson, Kemba Walker, DJ Augustine, all top 10 picks in the NBA draft, top 10 overall. There's not going to be, not all 5 of the Kentucky Wildcats are going top 5 overall, no matter what. So it's kind of one of those things where you can think, I'll give you Anthony Davis will be good, maybe Kid Gilchrist. Not every one of the Kentucky Wildcat players is going to be an NBA superstar. I could see a couple busts coming from there. These guys are young. They should, a couple of them should have stayed. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are going to be
years.
at least 2 busts at that starting 5. At least 2 busts.
Anthony Davis and Kid Gilchrist are the only 2 I think that are going to be good players.
I agree. I agree.
Anthony Davis he needs to put on muscle though, because he'd get out muscled in the NBA.
Absolutely.
They're going to push him around.
But it's not like
you
they're
have to look at his
22-year-old
shot blocking
seniors.
ability, his rebounding ability.
That's great. You have to understand.
Everybody-
This is all
yeah,
against
this is-
other college players. They've never matched up against an NBA team before. And, I mean, even, every college player that goes into the NBA, there has to be a transition period.
Exactly.
There can't be a direct, there has to be a transition period. There's no, as soon as I get into the NBA, I'm going to drop 20 points, 10 rebounds like I did in college. It's
Absolutely.
different.
It's like the first day when you compare it, kids coming from high school are going to go into a college campus the first day, and they're going to have to compete with their kids. Everybody is All-American. Everybody was the best player on their team, the best player in their state. The NBA is the best of the best. A lot of these kids aren't experienced enough to have that happen. So,
Exactly.
But we'll never know, but it is a fun thing to argue.
Not even
So,
close.
for our final thoughts, we're going to go into, Ray, what's your final thought?
My final thought is the Lakers. They're going into this offseason, this postseason, and Bynum, he's just doing work right now. Kobe's coming back. If he can mesh into the system that they've built with each other and trust each other, they have a solid chance at winning it all.
Okay.
All right. The New York Rangers have turned me into a fake hockey fan as of late, and I really do want to see the Rangers go on to the next round and eventually win the Stanley Cup. I don't know why they allowed Ottawa to come back and tie it 2-2. They need to just take over, do what they do. Their coach is great, and just win a damn Stanley Cup for New York.
I hear that.
Absolutely. On Tuesday, Jamie Moyer became the oldest man to start and win a Major League Baseball game at 49 years old when he pitched 7 solid innings against the Padres, throwing a whopping 78 miles an hour. Keep doing your thing, Jamie, and he's telling all the baseball to respect your elders.
I might be able to throw 78 miles per hour.
Might be able to. I don't know if you'll be able to win a game in the MLB, though.
Nah.
But still. My final thought, Pat Summitt, unfortunately, had to retire from the college basketball.
Yeah.
She coached there for tons of years. She's honestly the best coach in all of basketball. Some people really think that. And it's just kind of a sad thing, early onset dementia. It just kind of, hopefully, she'll be able to stay involved with the team there. Just kind of a sad thing,
That's
just
a sad
something to think
story,
about.
yeah.
But that's going to be it for this week's show. Everybody have fun this weekend. Park Fest. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe.
Fabulous.
Wow, that was pretty solid.
Oh, how'd you like that talk?